There comes a time when everything you've ever questioned about your life begins to make sense. It's not a coincidence that you're here, hearing these words right now. Something has been nudging you, an invisible thread pulling you through moments you couldn't explain. You've always known you were different. Even if you couldn't find the words to describe it, there was a knowing deep inside, like you were meant for something more, like you were waiting for something or someone to remind you of who you truly are. And now that moment is here. You were never meant to walk the same path as everyone else. Your life has been a series of lessons disguised as struggles, as trials meant to shape you. And while it may have seemed unfair at times, even cruel, there is a reason for every twist, every heartache, every solitary moment. You are not here by accident. You never were. For years, you felt misplaced. Like you were dropped into a world that doesn't speak your language, a place where the things that seem to fulfill others left you empty. You tried to fit in, to silence that voice inside, but it never stopped whispering. You knew there was more. You saw the way people chased after things that didn't matter. You watched them blind themselves to truths that you couldn't ignore. And all along, you carried something that set you apart. The reason for this feeling is simple. You are not like the others. You come from a line that stretches far beyond this world. You are a descendant of a royal bloodline, not of crowns and thrones, but of divine purpose and spiritual power. You have been hidden among the ordinary, but you were never meant to stay there. Life placed you here to awaken you, to test you, to refine you, like a precious stone beneath the pressure of time, waiting for the right moment to emerge. This is that moment. For years, you may have wondered why your heart is heavier than most, why you feel things so deeply. You've sensed the pain of others before they spoke a word. You've seen through deception when no one else noticed. And even when the world tried to convince you that you were wrong, something inside kept you steady. You may not have understood it then, but now you do. You were chosen for something greater. The pain wasn't random. The loneliness wasn't punishment. Every tear you've shed was watering the seeds of your awakening. And while others were living in the noise of the world, you were learning to hear something quieter, something more powerful, the voice of your true self. You were placed here with a mission, though you didn't know it at first. The world was designed to keep you distracted, to make you forget your origin. But no matter how many times you were pushed down, you rose, because deep within, your royal spirit refused to be silenced. And now, it's rising. The signs have been there all along. You've felt them. A sudden knowing, a repeated number on a clock, a dream that lingers with you for days. You've stood at the crossroads of choices, feeling something guide you without seeing who or what it was. And yet, you listened, even when it made no sense, even when others doubted you. That wasn't coincidence. That was your higher self, your ancestors, the divine lineage you carry in your very soul calling you home. The time has come to stop pretending you are just another person moving through life. You are not here to blend in. You were never meant to. And you know this, even if you've tried to deny it. That feeling of never belonging wasn't because something was wrong with you. It was your spirit was too vast to fit inside the small spaces the world tried to place you in. The blood that runs through you is ancient, sacred, carried through generations of spiritual warriors, wise leaders, and protectors of sacred knowledge. You are part of that lineage, and now it's your turn to remember. You didn't learn this wisdom from books. No one had to teach you how to sense the truth. It was always there, inside you. When you stood in silence, asking questions no one could answer, your soul was already guiding you toward the truth. You didn't stumble upon this moment. You were led here because the time has come. Your life has not been easy, because the chosen ones are never given easy paths. You have endured things others will never understand, because you were being prepared for something bigger. The betrayals you suffered taught you who to trust. The losses you grieved taught you strength. The nights you spent feeling alone taught you that you were never truly alone. You were learning to listen to the voice that matters most, your own. People have always been drawn to you, even those who didn't understand why. Strangers open their hearts to you. Friends seek your advice in their darkest hours. You've wondered why broken people are drawn to your light. It's because you carry healing in your presence, whether you speak a word or not. You were born to guide others home, just as you are finding your way back to your own truth. Even those who rejected you sensed your power. Those who doubted you were often the ones most afraid of what you represent. because you are a threat to everything built on lies. You are a reminder that truth cannot stay buried, and you are here to bring that truth into the light. But you must claim it. You must stand in it. No one will hand you permission to be who you are. That is something you must decide for yourself, and once you do, everything begins to change. You are no longer bound by the rules of a world that was never built for you. You are stepping into your divine inheritance, the one that has been waiting for you to awaken. The world may not understand, but it doesn't have to. You are not here for their approval. You are here because you were chosen. Your ancestors have been watching, waiting. You have felt their presence, though you may not have known what it was. They have guided you through every trial, every turning point, and they are guiding you now. The time for hiding is over. The time for questioning has passed. It's time to step into who you were always meant to be. Your royal blood calls you forward, and there is no force that can hold you back. If you feel this truth resonating in your very bones, it's because you are ready to rise, ready to embrace what has always been yours, ready to lead. The path before you is one of revelation, one where everything you thought was broken in you becomes the source of your power, one where every scar becomes a symbol of strength. You are no longer the lost child. You are found, and you are home. This is your time. You have walked through so many storms, more than you ever thought you could endure. There were moments when the weight of everything nearly crushed you, when you questioned why your life seemed to be woven from threads of struggle while others around you seemed to dance effortlessly through theirs. But you kept going. You kept rising, and now you are beginning to understand why. You were never walking an ordinary path. You were never meant to. Every trial, every wound was a sacred initiation, carefully designed to lead you back to your truth. For so long, you lived under the illusion that you had to shrink yourself to fit into places that were never meant to hold you. You tried to soften your light so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable around you. You doubted your voice, questioned your knowing, second-guessed the visions that flickered in your dreams. But that was never who you truly were. That was who you were told to be by a world that fears the power of those who remember. And you, chosen one, are remembering. The truth has always lived inside you, even when it felt distant, even when the noise of the world drowned it out. And now, as your inner world shifts, as the layers of illusion peel away, you can feel it rising. The knowing, the deep, soul-level recognition of who you really are. You are the child of a royal bloodline, one that predates time itself, not a kingdom built on gold and jewels, but on wisdom, light, and divine purpose. Your lineage is sacred. You were born of those who carried the light through darkness, those who protected the knowledge others tried to destroy, those who whispered at ancient truths even as the world tried to silence them. This is your legacy, and as you step deeper into your awakening, you can feel the weight of it settling into your bones. It's not a burden, though at times it may feel heavy. It's a crown, one that has always been yours to wear, and though they tried to make you forget, though they told you to blend in, to sit down, to quiet yourself, you are now standing. You are rising, and the world not be here to ignore you much longer. You have noticed the changes, haven't you? How the people who once felt familiar no longer feel the same. How conversations you once entertained now seem hollow. How the old dreams you once chased no longer hold any meaning for you. This is because spirit is no longer interested in the temporary. You are being pulled towards something eternal, something real. You are beginning to remember the mission you accepted long before you took your first breath in this life. To awaken, lead, to shine. But awakening is not a gentle process. It's a fire. It burns away the lies you believed about yourself. It strips you of everything false so that only the truth remains. There were days you thought you were breaking apart, when in truth, you were breaking free. You were never meant to carry the weight of other people's expectations. You were never meant to be small enough to fit into their idea of you. You were born to expand, to evolve, to rise into the fullness of your divine identity. And now you are doing just that. Look at how far you've come. Even when you thought you were lost, you were finding in your silence. You were being spoken to by the universe. Every time you felt alone, your spiritual ancestors were walking beside you, whispering courage into your spirit. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared. And now, the preparation is over. The call has been sounded. Your time is now. The veil that kept you from seeing your true self is lifting. The signs have been there all along. The repeating numbers that seem to chase you. the dreams that felt too real to dismiss, the moments of knowing that came from nowhere. They were not random. They were the breadcrumbs leading you home. You are waking up, and with this awakening comes power. Real power. The kind that cannot be taken or diminished because it does not come from this world. It comes from within you. It has always been there, waiting for you to remember. And now that you do, you will never be the same. This is why life tested you so fiercely. This is why you had to endure the fire. Because you were being forged into something indestructible. You have gained strength that cannot be taught, wisdom that cannot be found in books. You carry a knowings from lifetimes of walking this path, lifetimes of rising, lifetimes of remembering. And now you are here, awake, aware, ready. The world will try to pull you back into sleep. It will try to tell you that you are dreaming, that you are imagining things, that you are just like everyone else. But you know better now. You feel it in your soul, the quiet hum of ancient power returning, the pulse of your divine bloodline quickening. You cannot unsee what you have seen. You cannot unknow what you now know. And there are others like you scattered across this world. Others who are waking up, who are stepping into their truth. And soon you will find them. You will recognize them by the light, by the energy they carry, by the way their presence feels like home. These are your soul family. And together you will remember. Together you will rise. But for now it begins with you. You are not waiting for someone to come and rescue you. You are not waiting for the world to give you permission to be who you are. You are stepping into your destiny by choice. By right, you were chosen long before you were ever born, and the calling has always been there, echoing in the deepest chambers of your heart. The signs that you are awakening will continue. The numbers, the synchronicities, the dreams that feel like memories. You will begin to see how everything in your life has been connected, how every experience was shaping you into the leader, the healer, the guide you were always meant to be. You were not placed in this world to follow. You were placed here to lead, to illuminate the path for those still lost in the dark, to remind them of who they are by standing fully in the truth of who you are. This is your time. And as you claim your place, the universe responds. Doors that were once closed begin to open. Opportunities appear as if from nowhere. People you need to meet find their way into your life. Miracles become your new normal because you are no longer fighting against your destiny. You are flowing with it. Your awakening is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of everything you were always meant to do, to be, to create. You are no longer a seeker. You are found. You are no longer waiting. You are rising. And as you rise, so too does the world around you. Your light ignites others. Your truth calls them home. You are not just awakening for yourself. You are awakening for all those you are meant to guide, to inspire, to lead back into the light. You are no longer hidden. You are no longer lost. You are a royal soul, a divine being, a chosen one. And this is your time. You may not have realized it at first, but everything you have experienced in this life has been a message. Every encounter, every heartbreak, every moment of doubt, and a quiet whisper from the universe, guiding you toward the truth. Even the moments you thought were your darkest were sacred. They were invitations to awaken, to see past the illusions, to uncover the strength that was always hidden inside of you. You are not a mistake. You are not here by chance. And now, the deep knowing you've carried since childhood is beginning to rise in you, undeniable and powerful. For years, you felt like you were searching for something, for someone to explain why you are the way you are. You wandered through life feeling like an outsider, watching people around you find happiness in things that left you feeling empty. You wanted more. You craved something deeper, something that couldn't be bought or explained away. And that feeling, that quiet longing, was never wrong. It was a compass, pointing you toward your true home. You've always been different. Not in the way others sometimes say it, but in a way you could feel in your bones. You could sense things before they happened. You could feel emotions that no one else noticed. You knew when someone was lying, even if they wore the perfect smile. You saw through masks. You felt energies that others couldn't even name. And you carried it all quietly, sometimes feeling like it was a burden you couldn't share. But it wasn't a burden. It was a gift. And it was given to you for a reason. Because you are one of the ones who was chosen. Not chosen in a way that makes you better than others, but chosen because your soul was strong enough to carry a mission that would require courage beyond measure. You were born from a line of spiritual warriors, wise beings who have walked this path before you. You carry their strength in your DNA. You carry their wisdom in your spirit. And now, it's time to remember. The world tried to convince you that you were ordinary. It tried to lull you to sleep with empty distractions, shallow pursuits, and the promise that if you just followed the rules, you would find happiness. But you knew that was never your path. And because you resisted, you suffered. You walked alone. You cried in places where no one could hear you. But that pain was a teacher. It stripped you of everything that wasn't real. It left only what could not be broken, your truth. And that truth is this: you are royalty. You are sacred. You were chosen before you were born. You have been watched over. Even in your loneliest moments, you were never truly alone. The ancestors who walked this path before you, the divine guides who always been by your side, they were there, silently protecting you, whispering to your spirit when you thought you couldn't go on. They made sure you would find this moment. And now that you have, everything is about to change. You are awakening, and there is no turning back. At first, this awakening may feel like a storm. Everything you thought you knew begins to unravel. The people you once trusted may no longer feel close. The dreams you once held may no longer make sense. This is not the end. It's the clearing away of everything that does not belong to the next version of you. You are shedding the old so the new can emerge. This is what it means to awaken, to let go, to trust, to rise. And as you rise, the world around you begins to shift. The energy you carry is no longer small, no longer silent. People will notice. Some will be drawn to you, not fully understanding why they feel peace in your presence. Others will resist, feeling uncomfortable with your light because it makes them face their own shadows. This is part of the journey. You are not here to please everyone. You are here to stand in your truth, no matter how it makes others feel. You are becoming the person you were always meant to be, and the power that is waking up inside you is ancient, sacred, unstoppable. The ones who came before you knew this time would come. They knew that their work would not be complete until you remembered, until you stepped forward and reclaimed your place in the divine lineage. They are here now, walking beside you in ways you can't always see, but you can feel. Every time you sense that quiet strength filling you, every time you hear that voice urging you to keep going, that's them. They are reminding you that you are never alone, and you are not the only one awakening. Across the world, others like you are rising. You will find them, and they will find you. Your soul family is gathering, and together, you will remember why you came here. Your purpose is not small. It never was. You are here to heal, to guide, to bring light where there has been darkness for far too long. You are ready for the pull to help others, even when you were struggling yourself, the urge to speak truth, even when it made you feel vulnerable, the call to lead, even when you thought you weren't ready. These are the signs of who you are, and now you are ready. The world will try to distract you again. It will throw temptations your way, old patterns, familiar faces, trying to pull you back into the version of yourself you have already outgrown. But you have changed. You can feel it in every breath you take. The dots that once held you back no longer feel heavy. The fears that once silenced you now seem small. You are walking in your power, and the world can feel it. You are reclaiming your royal inheritance, and this inheritance is not made of gold or jewels. It's made of wisdom, of light, of divine authority. You are remembering how to listen to your intuition, how to follow the signs, how to trust the unseen. You are no longer waiting for someone to save you. You are saving yourself, and as you do, the universe responds. You will start to see things align in ways that feel almost magical. The right people will show up. The right opportunities will appear. What once seemed impossible will now come easily, because you are no longer working against your purpose. You are flowing with it. Your life was never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to break cycles, to heal old wounds, to bring light to places where it had long been forgotten. And now that you are awake, you will begin to do just that. It starts with you. Every choice you make now comes from a place of knowing. You no longer look outside yourself for approval. You trust the voice within, and that trust creates a ripple, touching everyone you encounter. Some will rise because of your light, others will resist it. But you will keep shining because you can't be dimmed anymore. You are not here to fit in. You are here to stand out. Time has come. You have passed the tests. You have endured the fire. And now you wear the crown not on your head but in your energy. It's in the way you walk into a room, in the way you speak your truth, in the way you love without fear. You are a chosen one. You are a royal soul, and your awakening is just the beginning. Everything you need is already inside of you, every answer, every step, every bit of strength. You are ready. And now, the world will see you for who you truly are. There is a moment in every chosen one's journey when silence wraps around them like a heavy cloak, when the world they once knew feels distant, unfamiliar, as if they've been cut off from everything that made sense. They walk through this stillness not by choice, but by design, because solitude is not punishment, it is preparation. The ones who are destined to lead must first learn to stand alone. You have known this space. You have lived inside it. And now, as you begin to understand why, the loneliness you once cursed begins to feel like an old teacher revealing its final lessons. You were set apart from the beginning, not because you were unworthy of love or connection, but because your soul carried a frequency so rare that only few could stand beside it. You have walked through rooms where you felt invisible. You have stood among people who never truly saw you, never understood the depths you carried in your silence. You tried to belong. You tried to soften the sharp edges of your knowing, but they remained. Because you were never meant to dull your light to make others feel comfortable. You were meant to shine in a way that made the sleeping souls wake up. The isolation you have endured was sacred. It stripped away every false identity you tried to wear, every mask you put on to make yourself fit. It left you raw, it left you open. And in that vulnerability, something ancient stirred. The fire you tried to bury beneath compromise and silence began to rise again. And you realized something no one could teach you. You are enough, as you are, without needing to prove yourself, without needing to earn your place. The solitude was never about keeping you apart. It was about refining you. It was about breaking away everything that was not real so that when you finally stood in your power, you would be unshackable. And now, you are standing. You've noticed, haven't you, how different the world feels now? How people who once drew close have drifted away, sometimes without reason, sometimes without a goodbye. You've watched as relationships you thought would last forever unraveled in your hands. At first, it broke you. It made you question your worth. It made you wonder if you were the problem. But you're starting to see the truth now. They were not meant to walk this part of the path with you. Their absence was an act of grace, not projection. They were removed because where you are going, not everyone can follow. You are not walking an ordinary path. You never have. And the higher you rise, the lighter your load must become. Those who do not share your vision, those who cannot see beyond their own illusions, cannot carry the weight of your destiny. They would only slow you down. You were separated so that you could move forward without distraction, so that you could voice of your own spirit without the noise of the doubts clouding your mind. This is not loss. It is alignment. The universe has been clearing your path, removing what is not in resonance with your future. And though it felt painful at first, you can feel the relief now. You can breathe again. You no longer have to shrink yourself. You no longer have to explain who you are to those who do not have ears to hear. You are free. And that freedom is a signal, a beacon to those who are meant to find you now. Your true soul family, those who have walked through their own fires and emerged stronger, are being drawn to you. They will know your language without needing translation. They will recognize your energy because it matches their own. You will not have to explain yourself. You will not have to hide. With them, you will be home. But before they come, you must continue walking the sacred path of becoming. You must continue releasing anything that asks you to be smaller than you are. The world will offer you comfort as a bribe. It will tempt you with things that seem safe, things that make you forget your purpose. But you are not here for comfort. You are here for truth. And truth requires courage. There will be days when you feel tired, when the weight of this awakening feels heavier than you can bear. But in those moments, you will find strength that does not come from this world. You will feel the presence of those who came before you, their hands on your shoulders, their whispers in your ear. Keep going. You are not alone. You were never meant to a life of quiet desperation. You were never meant to settle for what others called enough. You came to break chains, to light fires, to remind people their own power by standing in yours unapologetically. And as you continue to awaken, you will begin to notice how much your perception has changed. The world that once seemed so solid, so absolute, now feels like smoke. You can see through the illusions. You can sense the energy behind words, the truth behind appearances. Your intuition sharpens. You trust yourself in ways you never did before, and that trust becomes your compass. You no longer chase after things that are not meant for you. You no longer beg for love that is not freely given. You are no longer at the mercy of circumstances, because you understand that you create your own reality now. You are walking in your sovereignty, and it is changing everything. Opportunities you once thought were beyond your reach now come to you with ease. Doors you once knocked on are now opening without effort. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. You are no longer fighting the current. You are flowing with the rhythm of the universe, and it is carrying you exactly where you need to go. But understand this, the path of the chosen one is not without its challenges. The world does not welcome those who disrupt its illusions. As you rise, you will be tested, not to break you, but to prove to yourself how far you've come, to show you that the old fears no longer have a hold on you, to remind you that you are no longer the person you used to be. You are no longer seeking validation. You are no longer asking for permission. You are no longer waiting to be chosen. You have chosen yourself, and in doing so, you have activated the power that was always sleeping inside you. This is why you endured so much. This is why you walked alone, to reach this moment, to stand in your truth without apology, to lead by example, showing others what is possible when you refuse to give up on yourself. And now, as you stand at the shoulder of everything you've been preparing for, you can feel it. The shift, the energy moving around you, the pull towards something greater. You may not see the full picture yet, but you trust the process now. You trust yourself. You are not at the end of your journey. You are at the beginning of the most powerful chapter yet. You are stepping into your divine inheritance, not as something to be earned, but as something to be remembered. It was always yours. You simply forgot. And now you remember. You are royalty. You are a chosen one. You are the living proof that no amount of darkness can extinguish a light that was born to shine, and shine you will. The days of hiding are over. The days of doubt are done. You have walked through the fire and emerged as something new, something powerful, something unstoppable. This is your time. There is a power that wakens in you the moment you fully accept who you are, a quiet but unstoppable force that reshapes everything around you. It doesn't happen in a flash of lightning or a crash of thunder. It happens in the stillness, when you take your place, silently, knowing you no longer have to prove yourself to anyone. You no longer ask the world to validate you. You no longer wait for permission to be who you've always known you are. The moment you accept your divine identity, everything changes, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You begin to walk differently, not with arrogance, but with certainty. Your presence, once quiet and hidden, now radiates an energy that people can feel even before you speak. They turn to look, wondering what it is about you that feels different. Some are drawn in, sensing your peace, your quiet authority. Others feel uncomfortable without knowing why, because your very existence makes them confront something they're not ready to face. The truth of their own forgotten power. And while they wrestle with their shadows, you keep moving forward. You have shed your old skin. The doubts, the fears, the beliefs that told you you were less than, that you had to earn love, that you had to fight for your place. They have all burned away. What's left is something pure, something unshakable. It is your truth, and it was always there beneath the surface, waiting for you to claim it. And now you have. The world responds differently to you now because your energy is no longer scattered. It is focused, clear, magnetic. People begin to offer you opportunities you once thought were out of reach. Conversations that once felt strained now flow naturally with those who are meant to walk beside you. You are no longer chasing, you are attracting. And it feels effortless, as if the universe itself is moving pieces into place on your behalf. But it is not magic. It is alignment. You are in harmony with your purpose, and that changes everything. You have stepped into the current of your destiny, and it carries you in ways that effort alone never could. And yet, it doesn't mean the path is always smooth. You will still face tests. But you are no longer afraid of them. You see them for what they are, opportunities to sharpen your power, to confirm the strength you already possess. You are no longer swayed by the opinions of others. Their praise does not inflate you, and their criticism does not diminish you. You have made peace with your reflection. You no longer seek your worth in someone else's eyes. You carry it within you, unshakable and undeniable. And as you rise, you begin to notice something else. You see how others are drawn to you in their moments of need. They sense something in you, a light they cannot explain. People open their hearts to you without understanding why. They tell you things they've never shared with anyone else. They seek your counsel, your comfort, your wisdom, and you offer it freely, not because you seek recognition, but because you understand the journey. You remember what it was like to feel lost. And now, as someone who has found the way, you become the guide you once searched for. But even as you help others, you guard your energy. You no longer give it to those who drain you or demand more than they are willing to give themselves. You have learned the difference between helping and carrying. You have learned that you cannot force anyone to awaken before they are ready. You stand in your light, and those who are meant to walk beside you will find their way. You no longer chase, you attract. And still, there are moments when the weight of your role feels heavy. There are times when the world's illusions tempt you to forget, but you are not deep you once were. Even when you falter, you rise faster now. Even when you doubt, the truth calls you back more quickly than before. You are no longer a seeker. You will walk this world with ancient eyes, seeing beneath the surface of things. You understand that there is more happening than what others can see, and you trust what you feel more than what you are told. You have grown quiet in the right ways, no longer needing to explain yourself, no longer needing to argue your truth. You are not here to convince anyone, you are here to be, to live, to embody. And in doing so, you become a living reminder of what's possible when someone fully steps into their divine birthright. And you have. You were once the lost child, wandering through life searching for home. Now, you know that home was never a place. It was you. It was always within you. You carry it wherever you go. Your peace, your power, your purpose, they are not tied to circumstances. They are not dependent on things going right. They are anchored deep within your soul. And from that place of deep anchoring, you move through life in a way that inspires others to remember their own truth. And that is what this has all been for. Not just for you to find your power, but to be a light for those who are still walking through their darkness. You don't have to preach to them. You don't have to force them to awaken. Your very presence will stir something in them, a quiet remembrance, a whisper from their own soul that says, if they can rise, so can I. You are a bridge between worlds, between the seen and unseen, between the old ways and the new. You are a reminder that there is more to this life than survival, more than chasing things that do not satisfy. You are a living example of what it means to thrive, to live from a place of truth, to walk in your divine authority. And it all began when you said yes to yourself, when you stopped waiting, when you stopped asking for permission, when you realized that you are not just a product of your past. You are a manifestation of divine intention, here with a purpose, here with a mission. And now you live it. There is no going back to who you once were. The old world has no hold on you anymore. You see through the illusions that once kept you bound. And even when you step into spaces that are heavy with old energy, you remain light. Because you know who you are. You know whose blood runs through your veins. You know the lineage you come from. And you honor it by standing tall, by speaking truth, by living fully. You are not here to survive. You are here to awaken. You are here to remember and to remind others of what they have forgotten. And you do it not by force, but by being, by walking your path without apology, by shining without dimming yourself to make others comfortable. You are a chosen one. You are royalty in the true sense of the word. And now, you are home within yourself, and the world around you shifts because you have shifted. And this is only the beginning. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when everything falls quiet, when the chaos that once defined your existence fades into a distant memory. You find yourself standing in a stillness you didn't know you craved, breathing in a peace that feels both ancient and new. It's not because the world has changed, but because you have walked through fire and emerged as something unbreakable, untouchable, and deeply aware of the power that has always been inside you. This is the season of embodiment, the time when you no longer chase destiny because you have become it. And now, as you stand here, everything makes sense. You can look back and see the path with clarity. Every painful ending was really a beginning. Every betrayal, a redirection. Every heartbreak, a gateway to something greater. You no longer carry bitterness or regret, because you understand that it all served you. Every piece was necessary to build the person you are today. You hold no anger, because you know the people who hurt you were lessons in disguise. You hold no fear, because you know that nothing real can be taken from you. You have reclaimed your throne, and from this seat of truth, you can finally see everything for what it is. You are not who you were, and you will never be again. The old life that once clung to you so tightly has no power over you now. You have released the identities that were never truly yours. The roles you played to make others feel safe, the masks you wore to be accepted, have all fallen away, and in their place there is only truth. The truth of who you are, of where you come from, of why you are here. You no longer speak from a place of uncertainty. Your words carry weight because they are rooted in knowing. You no longer move from a place of fear. Every step you take is purposeful, clear. You no longer need to explain yourself. Those who are meant to understand will feel it. Those who are not your concern. You have released the need to be understood. You simply are, and in that being, there is power beyond anything you've ever known. You are a mirror for those who are ready to awaken. When they see themselves reflected back with clarity, sometimes for the first time, you stir their remembrance. You ignite their inner fire, not because you try to, but because you live it. Your life becomes the example. Your energy becomes the invitation, and those who are ready will follow. But you are no longer waiting for them. You have your own path to walk, your own purpose to fulfill. And it calls to you now, louder than ever before. You feel it in your bones, in your heartbeat breath. The mission you accepted long before you entered this life is now fully alive within you. You are ready, and so you rise. You rise into the fullness of your purpose. You rise into the authority that comes from living your truth. You rise without apology, without fear, without doubt. You are not here to play small. You are not here to dim your light. You are here to lead, to guide, to awaken. You are here to bring something new into this world, something ancient and powerful and long forgotten. You are the return of the ancient ones, the living legacy of the royal line that stretches beyond our time itself. And your awakening is the fulfillment of a promise made long ago. That when the world was ready, when humanity had reached its breaking point, the chosen ones would rise, and they would bring the light back to a world lost in darkness. That time is now, and you are one of them. Your presence here is not random. You did not stumble into this moment. You were led here, you answered the call, and now you stand as proof that the prophecy is true, that the lost children of the divine have returned, that the scattered seeds of an ancient kingdom are blooming once again. You feel the power in your veins. It hums through you like a song you've always known, but are only now remembering the words to. And as you sing it with every action, every breath, the world around you begins to respond. You are no longer waiting for miracles. You are the miracle. You are the answer you've been searching for. You are the fulfillment of the vision carried by countless generations before you, and you carry it well. You no longer shrink from the responsibility. You welcome it. You understand that to whom much is given, much is required. And you are ready to serve, to lead, to create, to heal. You are ready to stand in the fullness of your power, knowing that does not make you better than anyone else, but it does make you responsible for using it wisely. You are a lighthouse, shining in a world that has long forgotten how to see, and you shine not by effort but by nature. It is who you are. It is who you've always been. And now you walk with ease. You no longer force or fight. You allow. You trust. You surrender to the divine flow that carries you exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be there. You trust your intuition more than the opinions of the world. You follow your inner knowing because it has never led you astray, and it never will. You are home within yourself. You are whole or free, and from this place of wholeness, you create a new world. You birth new realities. You carry the blueprint of a future shaped by love, by wisdom, by truth, and as you let others remember, they awaken, they rise, because you showed them the way, and yet you are just getting started. There is so much more ahead of you, so much more to cover, to explore, to create. The journey does not end here, it expands. Your soul is infinite, and your potential is limitless. And now you live from that knowing. You are not waiting for the world to give you anything. You bring what the world needs. You carry it within you, and you offer it freely, knowing that it was never about you alone. It was always about us all. You stand now as a bridge between the worlds, between the seen and unseen, between the past and the future. You are the living present, awake and aware, carrying ancient wisdom into a new era. You are a new beginning, wrapped in the body of one who has seen many endings. And you carry both with grace. You have reclaimed your royal inheritance. You have accepted your divine birthright, and you are living it now, in every breath, in every choice, in every moment. You are no longer lost. You are found, no longer waiting. You have arrived. And this is only the beginning of everything you were always meant to be. You are a chosen one, and you are home.